obviously this team comes in to next season with experience. And my biggest thing that we got to show this guy some love, though, Jamal Murray. A lot of people have felt that he's a good player. He might be inconsistent sometimes, but now he's shown in multiple playoff runs that he can be that guy in the playoffs. He steps up his game to a whole other level. Even if Denver didn't win this year, I would not separate Jamal and Jokic based on how potent and strong their two-man game is, because Jamal is a big guard. He can post you up, shoot the three, play off ball. He's the best complement to everything Jokic does, and his value showed tremendously, especially versus LA in the playoffs, where he dropped 23 points in the fourth quarter.
Let me ask you this, actually, because let me get an outside perspective. I've talked about this before.
Sure.
Do you think Jamal, do you think he can make one of the All-NBA teams to earn a Supermax next year?
After you perform the way that you did in the playoffs, a lot of voters are not going to forget that for Jamal Murray. And if he's able to have his best regular season on top of Denver having sustained success, I don't think All-NBA is out of the question for him at all.
Real fast, this is Editor Gift in the building. Me and Swiper understand that All-NBA is no longer position locked. We're assuming Jamal Murray would have to be better than most of the guards at his position to be better than most of the players in the NBA. Let's get back to the video. Like, comment, subscribe.
The eyes are on Jamal more than they ever have been. So I do think he can make it. It's going to be tough, though, because there's a lot of great guards. You got Steph, Dame, Steph,
Luka,
Dame, SGA, Luka, Fox, Booker, Mitchell.
Lillard, Fox, Booker, Mitchell. Yeah, I mean, it's
crazy talent in the NBA. I think he is a all NBA caliber guard. And that's the funny part, because if you look at what he's accomplished individually, you don't see like all-star, all NBA. But if you watch him, if you see the way that he performs in the playoffs, he can clearly play at that level. So to me, Denver having another all NBA player in Jamal would not surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough, man. But I think Jamal, he wants a Supermax. And I think that's fair. Like,
yes, he does.
If I was him and I saw Jaylen Brown get a Supermax, I'm like, yeah, I mean, he thinks he's a better player. I think he is a better player. I think next year it'll be 338. I think it's the Supermax number. So, what was your position on the two Supermax players on one team? You said you don't like that for the team construction.
Yeah, so basically Jaylen Brown, right? He's gonna be making 35% of the cap.
Right.
And then when Tatum signs, he'll also make 35%. So basically you're gonna have two players on your roster make up 70% of the projected cap space from year to year to year. And that significantly limits the value players you can find. Like Denver to me should be a prime example of like how important cap stuff is, because you guys had multiple players outperforming their contracts, and you had star players being, quite frankly, really underpaid. Jokic, his main value this season was way higher than whatever he got paid this season. Same thing can be said for Jamal, Bruce Brown, and even KCP. Like, that's how good these guys were, especially Christian Braun on a rookie deal, right? Now, in the case for the Nuggets, though, if you're super maxing Jamal Murray, the question I would have is, who's out of the door then, if you think that happens?
Well, I think they'll just be over the apron. I think Porter's going to make 30. Gordon's he had a 4-year 92, which I also remember they said that was an overpay, by the way, for Gordon. And
they did say that was an overpay, yeah. I remember that.
And then Dylan Brooks gets a 4-year $90 million deal. So yeah, I don't think everybody would trade it. I think that's going to, okay, so if they have two Supermaxes on the roster, what would you do with Porter then? Because Porter has 3 more years on his max extension, and that was a 5-year 170 extension.
So this is interesting, right? So we had a tier list like maybe 4 months ago where we broke down exactly, where we broke down like every contract in the league, right? I think Porter is a good player. I still feel like the value of his contract is so astronomically high, even though he can fit that. My question for him is, for Denver, what they believe in his next 2 years to be, because what a lot of people don't know is MPJ is still not fully healthy. He played on a brace and was still producing at a high level. So my question would be, if you're thinking of keeping Porter on this roster, how replaceable is he in your mind? Like, okay, can they win a title if you supermax Jamal, you lose MPJ, but you get like more spacing and more defense that's just not his caliber? Like, how good will they be if they didn't have him?
Well, what would be a player under that contract value that would be? Porter, I think, was the #1 catch and shoot spot up shooter this year. I think he was like 1.30 points per possession or something like that. He's one of the best shooters in the NBA. I mean, technically, if we're being honest, he actually is the second most accurate volume shooter in NBA history to start his career, behind the only Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And the only reason, by the way, he didn't top Steph Curry was because of the 9 games he played with a back injury. But if you take those 9 games out, he's literally the most accurate volume 3-point shooter to ever start his career in the NBA.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, bro, he actually gets to the rim well. Like, when he gets to the rim, he's a good finisher. He dunks on people. And again, his defense, which I told y'all was going to be better, was pretty good in the playoffs, so
it improved in the regular season a lot. Yeah.
So for sure. What would be right underneath him then? Like in OG, like, cause even if OG would be on the same tier arguably as Porter maybe. So like, would you say OG is a good approximation for him? Like, who would be a replacement?
So I think OG is a good name to throw in there. How I would evaluate MPJ is, he is a 3-point spacer who can at times catch and shoot and make difficult shots. He doesn't have a great off of the dribble game, but this season he took good strides in attacking closeouts, which is good for him. I still think his decision making at times, even during the playoff run, sometimes can be questionable. And if his shot isn't falling, he still needs to like consistently be able to find other ways to impact the game. There are multiple times where like I would see Malone yank him for Brown, and Brown will like be really, really good. But my bigger thing here is, I don't even think it's fair to like, guess his value right now, because he hasn't been fully healthy. He's playing through a brace. And the question is the upside of him getting healthier and better at basketball in the next 2 years. Me personally, I wouldn't trade him now because it's like, we haven't seen the best of what he could be. But I think the closest player in terms of like wings and size would probably be OG and potentially Kyle Kuzma. Like, lengthy guys who have size, who can play defense, alter shots. But the problem with that is, in terms of spacing, MPJ clears them as the spacer. Like, absolutely clears them in that.
How much did Kyle Kuzma get? Did he get 30 a year?
I think he got 27, I believe. I'll check it real quick on
Kyle
Spotrac.
Kuzma contract. He got 104. So I think that was is that a 4-year deal or 3-year deal?
4-year deal. 4-year deal.
Oh wow! So he got just pretty. Not bad at all.
Yeah, that's a really good deal. So like, MPJ's contract is high, but again, like, I just feel like MPJ is replaceable from the perspective that your offensive thing, Jamal Murray is a legitimate 3-level scorer. Jokic is a legitimate 3-level scorer, and their continuity in terms of how they run their game, to me, you don't have to have so many premium players around those two. So if you had to lose MPJ, I think you could actually eat that. I think. Obviously, you don't want to, but I do believe Denver could still be a good team if they did not have him on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, bro. I mean, I know that Pascal thing going to be floating out there. Would you trade him for somebody like Pascal Siakam?
100%. I wouldn't even think about it. I would trade him yesterday if I could get Pascal Siakam on the team with Jamal Murray and Jokic. Like that, bro. So okay, wait. So hypothetically, you're talking about Aaron Gordon, Jokic, Siakam, and Jamal Murray. That's insane, right? Am I like off?
I think the only people that are worried about that will question the spacing, but I don't really think.
I don't care about that. I'm not gonna lie.
Pascal, yeah, I mean, defensively they would be like, they'd be asinine. Yeah, they would be insane.
Yeah.
You know, Jokic 7 feet with a 7'5" wingspan, Pascal with a 6'9", then a 7'3" wingspan, 7'4", and then AG 6'8" with a 7'2" wingspan, Jamal 6'5", I think a 6'6", 6'7" wingspan, and then KTP 6'5" with a, you know, a 6'6", 6'7" wingspan. Yeah, they'd be insane. Plus all the offense, yeah, they would be insane.
And then at the same time, Siakam can play backup big if Jokic goes over to the bench. Like, there's so much versatility. I would just automatically do that. That is a no-brainer for me.